Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. So today I wanted to talk about this Tilly Norwood situation, where basically they've created this AI avatar to act as an actress for them, which has many people concerned, myself included. But here's an article by NPR saying, could the next Scarlett Johansson or Natalie Portman be an AI avatar? Which is pretty messed up considering that both of those actresses are still alive. I mean, we were already using AI to recreate actors who have passed, which I think is pretty weird, but I guess we're living in the future. Really quick though, before I get into the article, I wanted to talk about my comic again. Things are going really well. We're actually finishing up the 3rd issue, and we're hoping to launch pre-orders soon. It's about a man who lives in a post-apocalyptic future, who travels back in time to save the world from being overrun by monsters. We're really excited for this project, and we're hoping that you all love it as much as we do. But it's called Shadow Paradox, and it should be available soon. So thanks for hearing me out, and let's get into the article. So the article begins with, Hollywood has a new hopeful by the name of Tilly Norwood, not a human actor, but rather a synthetic creation made with AI. The brunette with the Margot Robbie smile has so far made only brief public appearances, and only on social media. It's unclear whether the AI can perform scenes with other actors, since it only does monologues facing the camera in the clips, but Tilly Norwood's presence has the Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, and others concerned. This might be a step toward replacing human talent. So there's a lot to unpack here. Like here they say that she has Margot Robbie's smile, and that might actually be the case because they basically took a bunch of actresses and used AI to mix them all together without any credit or compensation or permission. And frankly, I think that this is the future that companies want. If you have this AI avatar, you don't have to pay them, you don't have to worry about working conditions, you don't have to deal with any of the things that you have to deal with when working with actual people to make sure that they're being compensated and treated fairly. So it's not surprising that so many people are so concerned. Anyway, the union made a statement by saying Tilly Norwood is not an actual human performer. It's an artificial intelligent construct, said actor and SAG-AFTRA president Sean Astin in an interview with NPR. On Tuesday, the Actors Union issued a formal statement condemning the AI. Different people will try and create new and interesting things, and it's an exciting environment, but nothing will ever replace a human being. I personally agree with that, and I think that most people do. But Astin went on to say that under the terms of SAG-AFTRA's contract with Hollywood producers, studios may not use synthetic performers without giving notice and bargaining over terms. Many NPR employees are members of SAG-AFTRA, but are under a different contract. I do worry that they're going to try to skirt around these contracts or just find loopholes so they don't have to work with them. Because at the end of the day, these companies are really only concerned with their bottom lines. AI creations are often touted as being less expensive, and they seem more and more human-like. However, human actors like Oscar winner Ariana DeBose have been coming to their own defense. Imagine having to defend yourself over being replaced by a machine. The artistry and dedication of real-lived human experiences of SAG-AFTRA performers is what has fueled the motion picture industry for more than a century, DeBose said in a statement. Synthetic performers, on the other hand, are created using technology that is only as effective as the content it is trained on. This technology will never create anything original, and it's technology that mines from the work of human creatives without consent or pay. So yeah, I think it's important not to forget that part. It goes on to say, Hollywood has been slow to react to Tilly Norwood's arrival on the scene. Particle 6, the London-based production studio behind the AI avatar, released a lighthearted video teaser about her in July. At the time, Particle 6 founder and CEO Elaine van der Velden said in an interview with the British trade publication Broadcast International that her company was in discussion with talent agencies about signing Tilly Norwood, calling the AI the next Scarlett Johansson or Natalie Portman. It mentioned earlier in the article that she's only been seen from the front, and I'm assuming that's because of limitations in the technology, and maybe they think that she's going to get better and better, but still, signing, quote, signing this AI so early, I don't know if that's going to work out for them, but I hope it doesn't so it blows up in their face. But that's just my opinion. But Hollywood only began to react this past weekend after Particle 6 announced at the Zurich Film Festival the launch of the new AI talent studio. So maybe before they weren't really, they didn't see it as a viable option, but now that they are getting more involved in film, now people are getting upset. And I think it's a valid concern. People are afraid of losing work, and actors are right to be afraid, said veteran Hollywood producer Charlie Fink, who writes about emerging technologies and the entertainment industry for Forbes and teaches on the subject at Chapman University. It's hard to know how many acting jobs will be disrupted by AI. A 2024 study predicts a little over 20% of film, television, and animation jobs are likely to be consolidated, replaced, or eliminated by generative AI in the US by 2026. But this research doesn't look at actors specifically. I mean, I personally think that's already too much. So hopefully there'll be a larger pushback. Background and voice actors are likely more vulnerable to the displacement than the Scarlett Johanssons and Natalie Portmans of the world. I think that we're going to see a ton of synthetic actors, Fink said, but I don't think in the top shelf movies it's going to fly. Yeah, I don't think it should fly at all. We're probably just gonna get a lot of cheaper slop movies that are using AI. But then again, we did hear Lionsgate saying that they wanted to make AI versions of their biggest hits. So I think it's going to just get worse and worse, honestly. I know that sounds cynical, but it is what it is. Particle 6 declined NPR's request for interviews with Eileen van der Velden and Tilly Norwood. They're gonna interview the AI. Or they wanted to interview the AI. But van der Velden responded to the pushback in an Instagram post on Sunday, calling the AI creation a piece of art and not a replacement for a human being. Well, that does seem to be what they're trying to do, I'm just saying. Meanwhile, some Hollywood people aren't panicking about Tilly Norwood stealing their limelight, at least anytime soon. Bring it on, said host Whoopi Goldberg at ABC's The View. We move differently, our faces move differently, our bodies move differently, maybe in 2 or 3 years it'll be seamless, Goldberg said, but it's not seamless yet. I mean, in my opinion, 2 or 3 years is not that long of a time. Maybe they should get in front of this before it gets too far out of hand. Just a thought. So I found the statement that was made on Instagram by van der Velden, and it goes into more detail here. It says the statement was released earlier this week and maintained that Tilly is not meant to be a replacement for actors, but rather a creative work that could spark a conversation. Well, they are looking into getting her signed, or it signed, so I don't think that they're really fooling anyone. But she says, I see AI not as a replacement for people, but as a new tool, a new paintbrush. Just as animation, puppetry, or CGI open fresh possibilities without taking away from live acting, AI offers another way to imagine and build stories. I'm an actor myself, and nothing, certainly not an AI character, can take away the craft or joy of human performance. I kind of feel like it's not really comparable to animation or puppetry and so on, because those are basically different skills. Like for a character that's made with CGI, like Gollum, for example, from Lord of the Rings, that's a human actor who is, performing the motion capture, and then CGI artists come in and do their thing over it. But in this case, something like Tilly is basically just replacing an actor outright, and that is a person that they could be paying instead of just an AI character. As far as we know, there's no one actually playing this AI. It's not an actor who's wearing a motion capture suit or artists coming in and making that and bringing that character to life. This is basically typing something in on the computer and then the computer does it for you, which it compiled together from actual actors and artists. So I'm kind of having trouble taking all this seriously, just saying. She goes on to say, creating Tilly has been, for me, an act of imagination and craftsmanship, not unlike drawing a character, writing a role, or shaping a performance. Well, she can only look straightforward right now and give monologues. I know people say that it's going to get better and better, but still, I'm just saying. It takes time, skill, and iteration to bring such a character to life. She represents experimentation, not substitution. Much of my work has been about holding up a mirror to society through satire, and this is no different. Comparing this to satire is so weird. And again, they are trying to sign her to actual production companies, so just saying that. So it's really hard to take what she's saying at face value. I think it just sounds more like cope than anything else because she's getting backlash. And then goes on to say that she said it's to be valued for what it uniquely brings to the table. Through Tilly, she hopes that it would open doors for this type of art form. But what exactly is this bringing to the table that an actual actress or actor can't bring? You know what I mean? You can write a script and then give that script to an actor to read and then have the actor perform it. But in this case, they're giving it to this AI to monologue and then they just don't have to pay it. I'm still questioning what more this really brings, honestly, because it seems more like they're just cutting corners than anything else. She also says, I hope we can welcome AI as part of a wider artistic family, one more way to express ourselves alongside theater, film, painting, music, and countless others. Evidence where, when we celebrate all forms of creativity, we open doors to new voices, new stories, and new ways of connecting with each other, the statement ended. So, yeah, I don't buy it. I just don't. And meanwhile, SAG-AFTRA is also not having it, stating pretty vehemently that Tilly Norwood is not an actor. It's a character generated by a computer program that was trained on the work of countless professional performers without permission or compensation, the U.S. Labor Union shared in their official statement. Yeah, I agree. It's just, ultimately, I think that AI can be a useful tool, but it shouldn't be used to replace actual performers or artists. Like, for example, a lot of video game publishers will use an automatic lip syncing program in order to cut out all of that more tedious work. And I think in that way, AI is very useful. But to do stuff like this, where they're just creating a way to cut out people that they don't have to hire, I just don't see how this is productive to anyone other than the people who actually made this AI, since they have money to be made and they have, the benefits to reap. And maybe the big name actors are going to be okay, but, a lot of people are going to probably lose opportunities because of this. But that's all my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with Particle 6 or do you agree with SAG-AFTRA? And how do you feel about this Tilly Norwood character? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. So with that being said, I'll see you all next time. Bye for now. Before I go, I want to give a shout out to our members, Tyrant Carnivore, Shiny Orc Boy, Depth Charge Media, Samaru163, Gabby Hime, Verdant Range, JVR, Equestron, Norman Sweet Cream, Way Beyond Coincidence, Hunter Rose, 80s Nostalgia Guy, Felix Spam, J Draws, Meowsers, Sky, Philip, Isaac Martinez, Garcia XV Legend, Tobias Weller, Bandito Bane, Mac B909, Dakari the Professor, Omni Fair, J Cavalry, Strider Exile, Phil C, Killer Bomb, Slawa Saporiguez, Entwine Boot 301, Frankie Camarillo, Crimson Phantom, Jin the Goblin, Daunter, G-Rock, Lucas Geist, Papa Hud 69, and the Gengar King. Thank you all so much for the support, and if you would like to become a member, you can hit the join button next to the subscribe button. We also have Buy Me Coffee if you want to support us that way, and if you enjoyed the video, you can leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and that part's free. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.